So the other day I was perusing Disney pins online like I often do, and I came across this pin, which I thought was so super cute. And then I realized that it looks very much like a tank top that I have that has a Minnie Mouse head made out of lollipops. So that got me to thinking it would be pretty darn awesome to make mini ears that look like lollipops. So I went to Cracker Barrel the other day for breakfast, and they have these giant lollipops like they have at Disney World, and I knew it was sealed. I have to figure out a way how to make these lollipop mini ears. Started out watching actual videos on how they make these real lollipops out of sugar. And then I figured I think I can use some type of clay to make it the exact same way that they make these lollipops. So these ears are primarily made using Crayola Model Magic Clay. It's basically the same exact technique of how they roll out these fun rainbow swirl lollipops. So just a disclaimer, this DIY, I wouldn't necessarily say it's for beginners. I'd recommend that you're pretty comfortable with your crafting skills and don't mind if you mess up a few times. So let's get started with the DIY.
For this DIY, you'll need a hot glue gun, a 1-inch headband, I got mine at Claire's, Crayola Model Magic Clay, 1 package in white and 1 package that includes the colors of your choice. Mine has red, blue, yellow, green, black, and white. Fabric to make your bow with, I'm using red sparkle felt, clear crystal-like beads, and Crayola Model Magic Glaze. To start off with, I'm tracing around a pair of mini ears that I bought from the parks to use as a rough template. This step isn't necessary if you don't own ears. You can easily trace around the top of a cup to get the circular size of the ears. I'm going to cut out the ears so I can use them to gauge sizes and mark about how far apart the ears are. Taken out all the Crayola Model Magic Clay and have covered my table with parchment paper since this clay can partially stain surfaces. I have almost all the colors I need, but I'm missing orange, so I'm going to mix together some white, yellow, and a little bit of red. This clay does mix together quite nicely. Then I'm going to knead all of the colors a little bit to prep them. Be sure you also have a small portion of white set aside. Now take your large chunk of white clay and mold it into a fat log. This is going to be the interior base of the rainbow swirl. Once you have your big white log, we're going to take our colors to make a rainbow sheet to wrap around it. Take your first color and start to shape it into a rectangle. Measure the circumference of your log. Mine is close to 6.5 centimeters. This is the height that you'll need your rainbow covering to be. I have 6 colors including the white, so I'm going to make each color just over 1 centimeter. When you have your first rectangle shaped, take the small portion of white and shape it into a thin strip that will be adjacent to your color. This is going to act as a spacer for our rainbow. You're going to continue shaping rectangles with your colors, putting a thin white spacing strip between them. I'm doing orange, white, yellow, white, green, white. I'm going to score and trim off the excess on the side so I can have a more uniform rectangle. Now, take your rainbow sheet and wrap it around your white log. Mine ended up being a bit short, so you can remove some material from the white log and spread it to the edge. Keep adjusting and working with your rainbow covering until it's flush around the log. Now start to smooth, stretch, and roll out your covered log. I've taken off the parchment paper to make rolling easier, and you're going to begin to thinly roll out an end of the log. Remove the end bit that came from the edge of the roll. Keep rolling out until you have the desired thickness. And start to twist it to make the rainbow twist. I'm taking the ear template I made earlier and I'm starting to wrap my rainbow swirl into a coil, wrapping around and around to make a lollipop circle the size desired. Keep rolling out more if you need more material. I'm making these ears a bit on the small side since they're my prototype and I want to make sure that they're stable. Now take your headband and press it against the base of the lollipop to shape and form the base so that it can be smoothly glued onto the headband. Make minor shape adjustments as needed. Repeat the exact same process for the other ear. I was able to make a total of 5 separate ears with the amount of clay I had, which worked out well. 2 ears turned out good, 2 were okay, and 1 was not so hot. This will allow you to practice how thick or thin you want the rope swirl, how large you want the ears, etc. And if everything works out, then you'll be able to make 2 pairs of ears. Crayola Model Magic is an air dry clay, so you need to let your ears sit for 24 hours before we continue on. It's the next day and the ears have dried out quite a bit, so we're now going to glue them onto the headband. I marked on my headband with a silver Sharpie where I want to glue the ears using my template as a guide. Take your hot glue gun, make sure it's nice and warmed up, and apply glue to the bottom of the ears. Stick your ear on the headband where you marked. Make sure you glue your ears towards the back half of the headband because the bow needs to be glued to the front. Repeat the same process with the other ear. Now, Crayola Model Magic Clay takes 72 hours to fully dry, but I recommend doing this gluing on step after 24 hours so that the base is still somewhat pliable and it can be adjusted to fit the curve of the headband if needed. To add reinforcement to the ears, cover up hot glue and add some pizzazz. I'm taking my clear crystally beads and hot gluing them around the base of both ears. With the Crayola Model Magic Glaze. The clay itself is very matte and foamy, perfectly lightweight for wearing, but we want our ears to look shiny like they're an actual lollipop. So take your glaze and paint it around all the surfaces of the ear. This will help to add a nice sheen to the ears, and it will also help to protect the clay. While that's drying, we're going to make the bow to put on the front. I'm using a red sparkly felt. I highly recommend using a felt for this because you won't have to worry about raw edges and it will help give your bow a more robust look. You want your material to be twice the width of the resulting bow you want, so I'm using the width of the felt as it is, and I want my bow to be 7.5 centimeters tall, so I'm measuring, marking, and cutting it out. And lay it right side down. Take both ends and fold them into the center until they meet. Use hot glue to attach both of these edges. Now we need to scrunch down and fold the center of the bow. I'm using a clear elastic to hold it down momentarily. And then putting hot glue in between the folds. Scrunching and holding it together until it dries. Now cut a small strip of fabric that's as tall as your bow is and a few centimeters wide. And wrap it around the center of your bow. Glue down the top and the bottom to secure. When your ears are fully dry, take your bow, put hot glue on the bottom, and glue it down in between the ears. Add additional glue to the back and sides if needed. And voila! You have beautiful Lollipop mini ears. They definitely look good enough to eat. I hope you enjoyed this DIY. Please let me know if you make these ears, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please do consider subscribing if you'd like to see more Disney and pin related content. And I hope you have a zippity-doo Disney day!